Hi, this is Dr. Pachenik, and today I want to address the issues that the Republican constituents brought up, particularly George Conway, Kellyanne Conway's husband, and a bunch of other Republicans of the Heritage Foundation, which is no more than a geriatric unit for Republicans, who said the following, that Trump is narcissistic, he's dangerous, he doesn't follow the rule of law. What we should do is glorify the presidency of Lincoln. And I said, okay, let's learn a little bit of history, George. Number one, Lincoln was a tyrant. He clearly created a war against the South because he had economic interest. He was interested in the waterways. He was interested in New Orleans. There was an imposition of a tariff called the Morrill Tariff, M-O-R-R-I-L-L, which favored Pennsylvania and the northern states and forced the southern states to secede from the Union. He did not like blacks. He felt that blacks were inferior. They had to go back to their homeland. Even when the blacks were freed, he sent them down to Central America, South America, and he created a war that was called a civil war. It was not a civil war. It was auto-genocide. As somebody who'd been in Cambodia and took down the Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot and Hun Sen, I can tell you that the slaughter of 800,000 Northerners and Southerners was nothing more than a slaughter. Another 1 million men were wounded, and then he created what we call the absence of habeas corpus. He arrested thousands of reporters and judges, and this is what George Conway and Republicans want to admire. So let's go a little bit further. In turn, Lincoln was an ethnic cleanser. When he freed the slaves, he said, those slaves that are there, we have to send them back to Latin America and Haiti. General Hunter said, no, I'm going to release and I'm going to save 100,000 slaves, which he did. He was a Northern general. And in turn, Lincoln rearrested them and made them slaves again. So what we have is a paradigm of a president who was really ruthless, tyrannical, was bipolar, and had Marfan syndrome. But in turn, how did that come out to be one of our leaders? Well, you can thank Walt Whitman, and Captain, My Captain, and you can thank Carl Sandburg, who won a Pulitzer Prize on the biography of Lincoln, which was a disaster and a distortion. What's coming out now is both the Democrats and the Republicans really have no idea of American history. They make it sound as if we were puritanical, we had a rule of law, and we were nothing but caring about the absolute powers of the presidency. Well, that's not correct. As I pointed out, Abraham Lincoln was just one in a whole number of presidents who were ruthless. FDR was ruthless. He broke the Lend-Lease agreement. Bush was ruthless and invaded Noriega when he didn't have to. Bush Jr. invaded Iraq and Afghanistan when we didn't have to. But here we have Trump brought up on the most minor concerns of any presidency, and he doesn't follow the rule of law. What's important to understand, from my point of view, is that America has to understand that we have a history of being ruthless, we have a history of being incredibly powerful, and we are a war-making nation. Beyond the Civil War, where we killed over 1 million men, we went on to Korea, we went on to Vietnam, we went on to Iraq, we went on to Afghanistan. Now, I'm not condemning my nation. I know exactly what it is that we do. We're a republic. Once again, let me repeat it. We are not a democracy. We are a representational government on all levels of government. So that means the president is representational of the desire of the people, not of Congress. Congress is a representational government. It is not a democratic entity. These are the words that have to be understood, that we have to accept Trump. He is narcissistic, he's self-aggrandizing, but you know what? He's going to close the China deal, and he's already doing it. We're going to have peace with North Korea. He's pulled out troops from the Middle East, and he's made an economy that's formidable. Let me quote George Santayana. If we don't learn our history, we're going to repeat the mistakes of the past. But let me quote Animal House that says the following about George Conway. Being fat, short, and stupid is no way to live a life. Thank you and good night.